Hello and welcome, lovely folk. This is the year ahead reading for the sign of Libra. For the year 2025, we will start off with tea leaf. Grab you an animal spirit card for tarot. We have 𝕃'𝕌ℕ𝔼. For the excuse me. Lastly, we will also grab you a Queen of the Moon Oracle card along with the Moonology card. I'll possibly clarify with the Enchanted World Tarot, and we're going to be doing charms and runes as well, but we will be doing that differently. We have a year chart that we will throw them on and see where they land. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, that one too. Okay, we'll take that one. Okay, so we have August and April. And success. Bull, do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. Wreath, sorrow over a loss. Club. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. Man, dealing's a relationship with a man. Wedge, someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. Lion, time to act. Older woman, dealings a relationship with an older woman. Parrot, someone will gossip about all of your secrets. Kangaroo, unsettled times, need to plan ahead. Boot, increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. Seahorse, family matters. Okay, let's get your animal spirit. Now all of this could happen all throughout the year. It could be dealing with things that have happened past years. So like, don't fear anything like with sorrow over a loss. You could be just now dealing with a lot, like facing a loss that happened years ago. So I just don't want anybody to worry when there's no need to. But do be mindful, of some of these things. Like if you notice somebody who gossips a lot around you, perhaps that's something to pay attention to. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. I'm kind of getting parental energies with that. It doesn't have to be, but that is, it can be hard for a parent, especially when a child goes through their ego development stage, which can be the teen years, but honestly in today's world it often happens later, just whenever somebody is able to really declare their independence and start taking care of themselves and kind of set boundaries. And sometimes it can take a long time for those boundaries to truly be established and respected. So Yes. And I'm getting that again with that do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. You know, set those boundaries and show them that that you respect yourself and you will take nothing less. Alright, we already have some animals here. We have seahorse, bull, lion, parrot, kangaroo. So these animals can be part of your animal spirits here. And when these come out as well, these animals may show up often throughout the year. When you see them, look into their meaning. I do have some animal spirits in my playlist, invoking power animals. So, don't shy away from looking at what these animals mean. I only give a small tidbit. You can go online and look. There's wonderful resources online to see what resonates. Oh wow, okay, that's quite a bit. Alright. So we have the cosmic egg and dragon. Those two are spirit ones. They all have, an element, and these are spirit or ether, or not just of the four main elements. There's usually something a little bit extra special about them. So maybe we will read these. I'm not going to read these. You can take it upon yourself to look into these spirit animal symbolisms if you feel called to, or if they keep showing up for you, or what have you. These, and the other ones as well that came up, as I said. But we have moth, which is an air element. That can be, I always think of like a moth to a flame. So being mindful about not getting burned, being mindful of where you're putting your energy and your focus and what is drawing you to it, and just being mindful of that. And we have wolf. So wolves are the pathfinders. You may be in search of your purpose. You may be, again, this can very much so be about like gaining your independence, like the alpha goes off and finds their independence, so that they're then able to come back and lead the pack. We have elephant. Elephants move through obstacles with ease. Elephants are very spiritual, very intuitive. Something I love about elephants is like they have a unique thing, because bats, we know they echolocate. Elephants actually can feel the vibrations. They can communicate through the vibrations in the ground. So it's like kind of an echolocation, kind of like a seismic location. Terror location, I don't know what you'd call it. I don't think it really has a name. But yeah, that's something I've always found fascinating with elephants. I learned that when I was younger and was like, whoa. Elephants can be about listening with love, to yourself even. We have fire ants. And interesting, I was going to so this is a fire card. We had air, earth, fire, and fire. And I was being called to the fire and the elephant card, like invoking that inner fire. And that's kind of like establishing that independence as well. Deer, which is another earth. And deer are very respected creatures. Very respectful and respected. And I think that's again about that respecting yourself and not taking any less from others. So let's go ahead and get your Tarot. It is a pretty overcast day, so I will do what I can in editing, but apologies if it's a little darker than usual. Spirit guides and angels messages for Libra. Interesting how those flipped. That was very cool. Spirit guides and angels messages for Libra. What does Libra need to see for their highest good? This is definitely here that came out like that. Spirit guides and angels messages for Libra. Okay. Okay, we'll get to these in the end there. Let's go ahead and start here. So you are learning how to focus on the good. You're letting go. This is a big year for letting go for you. It seems like perhaps the past few years have been a grievance in a way, and you're just coming to this point this year of shedding the old, letting go of the past, letting go of sorrow, and seeing the beauty that lies ahead if we choose to open ourselves up to see it. Very beautiful, very good energy to go take into the new year. So I do see that for you. We have Queen of Swords. So discernment. I'm getting acceptance. And actually, I just did the quote for this month. I was a little behind with doing my sacred geometry and my quote for the month and getting things set up. I didn't have the December set up yet, but it is what it is. I had a busy month this month, but we cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. By Carl Jung there. So it's like, I think you're first accepting everything as it is, without judgment, without like this like emotional strain from it. You're just purely surrendering and accepting it, and then choosing through accepting it that you're able to just let it go and choosing to focus on what you can change and the good ahead. Now, this year we'll have a little bit of a struggle of, I think, both what you want to offer and what is offered to you. I think it's about that equal exchange, and you have the discernment, so this is something you will move through, especially with the elephant as well. You will move through this with ease. It's still going to be a challenge. It's not going to feel very easy, but you are handling it very gracefully. There will be opportunities, but I do think the bigger focus is letting go of this year. It's just radical acceptance and just shedding the past. I've got that feeling in your meditation, actually. I'll say a couple of things here. So I saw the duster. Well, first, actually, let me say what I was gonna say. In your meditation, I felt the feeling of like spring after the ice is melted away, and you feel like that like revigoration and that like sigh of relief, that like, and things just letting go. You almost feel lighter. I got that feeling like this year's very much so going to feel like that. But also, I saw the duster from Beauty and the Beast. The one, I think she's with the candle, oh, what's his name? Pierre? I'm just thinking of French names. The candle, it's not called a candlestick because it's multiple. The candelier? Character from Beauty and the Beast, but she's with him, the feather duster. I did get you might be hosting a lot, and that might stress you out, so make sure not to take on too much. This does kind of give that as well, both of these cards actually. This is the Two of Wands here. Try not to take on too much, and it can make you feel chaotic if you take on too much, but it's not saying don't take on anything, but just be mindful it doesn't interfere with you and, you know, what your main focus is this year, of letting go and being in a good mental space of acceptance and taking time for you. Yeah, letting go a lot. I didn't see it come up here, but I do want to give it. I did see stingray as an animal as well. Possibly manta ray. I saw it, I didn't have the words. It was either a stingray or manta ray. Which gave me the feeling of smoothing things over, which was interesting. And then I also saw ice skating. I figure ice skating. So again, kind of like smooth. Which kind of also reminds me of Queen of Swords. Smoothing things out. But yeah, trying not to take on too much, because that will cause some extra stress and for focus to go away from where it needs to be. So just be mindful of that. We have the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. So that's again about, it's like fruits of your effort. You might not see them right away, but also, I think this is also about, again, that discernment, and being careful not to offer too much, because it can take away from other areas. You want to be very mindful of what you focus on and where you grow. And I think it's kind of a pattern for you to host, to cater and give your energy, which is beautiful. Don't ever change that. But, you know, if you're doing it to a point where it is taking away from your growth, then that's something to be very mindful of course. And also I'm getting like burnout. It can burn you out, so you don't want to get to that point. We have the Ace of Chalices, Ace of Cups in the reverse here, again about the burning out. Like, I think you'll actually almost feel like, I think perhaps sometimes you do this out of, you love being around people and surrounding yourself with people. Again, beautiful thing. But if you do so to a degree that is detrimental and you're taking away from yourself, then it's not as fulfilling and it might make you feel even more lonely. We have the Queen of Wands in the reverse. It might also just make you feel like less confident. When you take on so much because you're feeling so burnt out, and then it's like how do other people do? You might start comparing yourself and just feeling unable. So you're very much so being called to stay focused on this. Stay focused on letting go. you might go through a phase. I think either way, whether you focus on it or not, it will cause you to feel maybe a bit lonely, a bit unable, and maybe even detached, maybe just uneasy. But it's ultimately for your good. Like, letting go just is hard, and it takes time. And you don't want to focus too much on it either. It's about balancing out things in your life. So that's why I think it's like being very mindful of where you offer your energy in all areas of life. That's going to be very important to discern this year. But you do have the clarity, the discernment to do so. We have the Devil card. So it is going to be, that focus can backfire. You know, fire can burn. You know, we got that kind of there before. Fire can burn. So you do have to, like, if you focus so much on one thing, it can become toxic. There's somebody that told me once how, like, something about Oreos, eating too many Oreos and that giving cancer. And I think it was just like, they're just saying, oh, like, yeah, even if you like were to eat too many Oreos, it could give you cancer. And I think they were kind of just getting at, like, too much of anything can be toxic. And that's that is true. Like, even if you do too much of a good thing, it can become damaging. If you wash your hands too much, that can be seen in OCD, that people will wash their hands to the degree where they become chafed and damaging, which actually makes more cuts in your hands, which can create more risk for infection and germs. So it kind of does the opposite. After a certain point, it has like the opposite effect. So try not to focus so much on letting go that then you're focusing on the losses and not being in a place of gratitude and enjoying your time here. We have Justice in the reverse. So I'm getting again about smoothing things over. You might really resist this. It's going to be very important to not get caught up in gossip. I do see that for you. Your main focus is keeping things very light this year and letting things go. Meditation for sure can help you and keep grounded and not fall into certain ways. But it is, of course, like, you're human, and there will be periods where you do fall into that. So I think the biggest thing is coming back to that discernment that you're going to steadily have throughout the year, and not beating yourself up over it, but keeping a light heart and being aware of what it is that is toxic, that needs changing in your life. I also am again being called to that quote that I had for this month. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. We have 9 of Swords in the reverse. So this is a beautiful thing to see. You are releasing that anxiety. You are, you're definitely, okay, so it's like, pretty much I'm getting, like, throughout this year, you'll still have healing to do after this year's over, but you're going to move through such big parts of it that, like, things aren't going to be having as much of a hold on you, as much of an effect. So you are moving through this, even if it doesn't quite feel like it, because you might still fall into some ways. But that's why I think the biggest thing is acceptance this year. It's acceptance, allowing yourself to be human and knowing that it's okay if you mess up. It's okay if you aren't perfect and, aren't always on the mend, and just that you accept that and notice that, and, get yourself back on track, even if it's again and again and again, then you're on the right path. Like, you're human, it's okay. You're not going to get it right all the time. You're going, like, it's completely, we all go on hiatus. We all break our mending at certain points and have to, and I think that's why that's the biggest lesson, is acceptance. It's allowing yourself to not just completely revert when you mess up, but to be like, I messed up. Wow, I might have gone off track for a good minute there, but that's okay. I'm human. I'm learning. I'm doing a beautiful job. And I see you're doing that. And maybe even having less, I think you're very, what's that called? There's like anxious types, avoidant types. Sometimes there's a blend. I think you're anxious type, perhaps anxious avoidant. You might also be having to move through, we did have time to act. So if you're anxious avoidant type, this could be about feeling the fear, doing it anyways, putting in an offer on a job even though you're scared about it. Say, like, this can be about doing something, feeling the fear, doing it anyway. But yeah, I do see less insomnia this year, less anxiety. You're moving through that fear. You're kind of teaching yourself how to move through the obstacles no matter what. And we have 3 of Wands. Beautiful. So you are working through this 100%. This year just is about acceptance. And just, to keep going even when things feel difficult. That reminded me of Just Keep Swimming from Finding Nemo. Let's get your Queen of the Moon. Spirit guides and angels, messages for Libra, please. What does Libra need to see for their highest good? Messages for Libra, please. Okay. So we have self-reflection, which definitely we're seeing that here. That you're self-reflecting, you're accepting, you're loving yourself through, it's like this radical self-acceptance and assessing, which definitely with the Queen of Swords here, you're assessing your life, where you put your energy, how you want to move through it. And again, with this like radical self-acceptance with that, let's get your Moonology. Oh, and this also can be the time period. So this is a Wham and Give Us, card 17, which is the Star card, which is a reminder that no matter what, you shine so beautifully. You are high vibe, you are a beautiful person, no matter, like, every single step of your journey has been a part of who you are, which all of it is beautiful. I got the phrase no pain, no gain, and I also got the phrase, or the idea of like I love how like a lot of times tortured artists kind of can see and capture the beauty, and because they understand the pain, but how there's like something that grows from that and how beautiful it is. And so there's like such beautiful art pieces where it encapsulates that like that there's beauty even where you wouldn't think to see it. Spirit guides and angels, messages for Libra, please. Oh, and I forgot to say that this one is card 9, and it's the first quarter of the moon. A time for healing. I think we certainly got over or saw that. And communication is key. That is something with the Queen of Swords as well. You know, she isn't afraid to communicate. She will, you know, get straight to the point and say what she needs to say. And we did have, you know, do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude, time to act. Oh, and also unsettled times, need to plan ahead. We do see that you will be doing that. This year is a lot about healing, planning, communication, learning to stand on your own, self-reflection. Also, this is the balsamic moon, and this is new moon in Gemini, which is the Gemini season. I'll have to look at balsamic moon. All right, I will meet you in the next section for your runes and your charms. Hello and welcome to this section of the reading. So for your card of the year, we actually got Queen of Swords again, which I thought was perfect. It's letting go, it's being discerning, it's communication, smoothing things over. I just got the image of like, you know, when you have a cup of flour that you're gonna put into, I don't know, a cookie recipe or whatever, and you like smooth over the top. You can, like with a palette, with a, what do they call those? Like a butter knife or something. Interesting. Very Queen of Swords. It's like taking out the excess, letting go, cutting out the losses, and being concise. Okay, so let's get your runes. You will have to bear with me. I am still pretty new to the runes here. Oh wow, we had some go on the floor, so you'll have to give me just a moment. Okay, I believe that this is Jebo. That actually landed in my laundry basket, so we will count this as a throughout the year. It could also just be outside of the year, just outside the year. But let's go ahead and see what it says here. It is Jebo. Gifts, generosity. Gifts in the pleasure of giving, friendship, generosity, and simple delights. Even the rune of relationships, couples, and therefore a happy choice in connection with future engagement, marriage, or business projects. Such relations demand a certain willingness to sacrifice, something that should not be underestimated. Egoism can destroy all kinds of mutual experiences. Even a warning against laziness and indecision, but all in all, a positive rune. It feels very Queen of Swords like as well there. So I will put that with that. Next we have 𝕃'𝕌ℕ𝔼. Now this is in Pisces season, it looks like, but it could also be just around this part of the moon, about the third quarter. So we'll count it kind of towards both. 𝕃'𝕌ℕ𝔼. Day, rousing. 𝕃'𝕌ℕ symbolizes culmination and can symbolize spiritual advancement, possibly a form of transition. So perhaps around March-ish area, Pisces season, there could be a big shift. At a great benefit of the asking person. At its best, this rune establishes that the darkness is over. Light, results, and positivity are secured. This may seem fatalistic, but 𝕃'𝕌ℕ𝔼 says that we must seize the opportunity, or else it will pass. Warning against indifference and encourages you to a certain portion of meditation. So staying grounded, for sure. To try not to let this opportunity to shift things, to change, really pass you by. We have 𝕃'𝕃, and this is about around the third quarter of the moon as well. It's kind of in the yearly, it's kind of in Pisces, so this could have connection with 𝕃'𝕌ℎ, and it could also be throughout the year. And I'm pretty sure 𝕃'𝕃 has to do with wealth. Oh, excuse me, that's not 𝕃'𝕃. That's Ansuz. Ansuz, Odin, wisdom. The rune of the written word and communication. Interesting. Again, with communication, we have the Queen of Swords for you. It's going to be very important for you this year. To communicate your needs, to communicate boundaries, to communicate just communication in general. Being mindful not to let it go into gossip. I think that's important, to be discerning on what to communicate, but also communication just in general. Perhaps also some of you will be in the limelight in a way, in social media in some way. Okay, connected with Mercury, which according to tradition communicated with divine powers. Also connected with Odin, who had to suffer great pain to become wise. Wow, we did get pain, no pain, no pain, no gain, and we also got just that idea of accepting pain as part of life. I'm also getting the idea of birth. Birth is very painful. Getting your teeth in is very painful. Just so many it isn't without pain that there's growth and transition. Express wisdom and help from an elderly person. Better communication, possibly of magical or parapsychological nature, maybe with colleagues, but at guard against swindlers. Odin's day, Wednesday, is at the same day as Mercury's in Roman languages. Yes, Wednesday is the mercurial day. Also, it started raining outside. It's kind of beautiful. Which is again kind of giving me this feeling of release. Okay, and then we have, is that Manas? Which is the man? Aiwas. Or Aiwas. Yeah, because there's Aiwas. This is Aiwas. Horse changes. And this is right around your birthday season. Right around Libra, but also around the first quarter of the moon. The rune of Sleipnir, Odin's horse, travel and changes. An asking person involved in a business project should be encouraged, but emotional relationships must be rebuilt or given some vitamins. Wait on spiritual travels. Like not wait as in wait, but like weight, dominance, gravity, gravitas, like a lot about spiritual travels. A calming rune which weighs in, let's just say a calming rune which brings in prosperity. To get inner peace, we should make an extra effort to finish our tasks. So for sure, I think Libra can very much so, similar to Venus, can get in kind of a perfectionist place. I feel like you hear a lot about that with Virgo, but I personally have seen it with Libras in my life, and I myself get this way. I do have a Virgo placement. I don't have a Libra placement, but definitely I've been around a Libra my whole life. So I know for certain that it can, even though the different things of course always play a role in each individual, but I do feel like because of that like neat balance and not synchronicity, well that too, but balance and liking things symmetrical, that can sometimes cause you to become so detail oriented that you forget to step back and see the whole picture. So, which is why there's like a need for balance, even though Libras do like to see they aren't always in balance, like any sign. Nobody's always in balance. There always needs to be kind of a, something interesting is, okay, so I like comparing it to those balancing plates. When you go on those balancing plates, you're kind of having to keep shifting your weight to get in balance, to get in the right place. And then even then, there's micro movements that we do without even intending to. And so then it's like we still have to keep adjusting. You're never going to stay perfectly balanced. You can definitely get in a good flow. And perhaps, maybe some yogis who've practiced, maybe but we're all human. I don't think anybody ever perfectly stays there. It's something you always have to shift and go with the flow, because change is the one true constant. So you do constantly have to kind of reassess and adjust. So I'm getting that kind of assessing feeling there. So balancing things out. So that is it for the runes. Let's go ahead and get your charms. Okay, wow. Okay, that is insane. I don't even know how that happened. Hold on. Okay, I truly do not know how that happened, but Jebo somehow landed upright, like up on its edge. That is so cool. I have to leave it because that is just so cool. But Jebo clearly is very significant, and it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Jebo's gifts. What was the other big thing that was? Oh, and like cutting things out. Gifts, generosity, kind of assessing your energy. Future engagements, marriages, business projects. Wow, okay. Very cool. So we have clarity here, this landed like pretty much on the what would you call that? Like just after the full moon, which is interesting because the full moon brings clarity, and then with that clarity we often see it's like a time for assessment and then cutting out with the moon. So it's very interesting to see that, especially this has like cuts in it, you know, like a gemstone. So yeah, it's like cutting, being concise, cutting things out. We have more on clarity with the full moon. So perhaps being aligned with the moon is going to be very important for you this year, because I mean, clarity with the full moon, cutting things out with that clarity. And then we even have this here, which looks so much like the first quarter of the moon. And the first quarter of the moon is like things you're growing. So perhaps, yeah, staying connected with the moon phases will really help you. We have this 8 ball right around Sagittarius season. Also, it can also be with this moon. So again, about assessing, because you know, you ask the 8 ball questions and get an answer. So I'm kind of feeling that with the full moon. You're really kind of asking yourself the deeper questions and connecting with yourself on a deeper level. 8 is like the number of the self, so it's like, it's always interesting with 8 balls, is like you're really kind of, you think it's like this external thing, but really it's like, because a lot of times people will ask the 8 ball something, but then, you know, go with their own gut rather, if they like don't hear the answer they want to hear. I remember doing that growing up with like coin tosses or the 8 ball or whatever. I'd ask the magic 8 ball or I'd toss a coin, but then I'd be like, it just make me know even more what it was that I wanted to do, even if it wasn't what was externally shown, you know. We have right around Virgo and right around the first quarter, we have this dragon fruit, which is interesting because we did get dragon for you. So it's kind of like peeling back the layers, really connecting with yourself, what you want to, it's again assessing, because the white is kind of like the things you want to gain, and the black is kind of like things you want to cut out, so that you can grow them into new things like seeds. Very cool. And I swear, oh there it is, that there is another. So we have Scorpio season, we have a little pillow with a cloud on it. So dreams might be very important for you. It was kind of on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio, so pay attention to your dreams during those 2 seasons throughout this year. I mean, always pay attention to your dreams, but you might get a lot of them around that time, and pay attention to them. Also, just a reminder to get some good rest. Again, I think you're gonna do better. I think you've had a lot of anxiety, and it was like creating some insomnia, and I think this is something you're working on throughout this year, and that you'll see around this time. You'll be getting better sleep. And for Virgo, we have the star, which is cool because we did get that 17 on that one card, which is star energy, and it's accepting yourself, healing, and loving yourself no matter where you are through every step of your journey, knowing that that was all part of you. All of it is aspects, pieces, different points to your star, and you shine bright through all of it. Like, it all makes up who you are, and you are beautiful. Every single step of your journey, you have been beautiful. Okay. Well, we will leave this here. I hope you have the most beautiful 2025. I would love it if you come back and let me know what resonates. And I want to thank you for all of the likes, comments, shares. They help get these messages out to all of those that they're meant for. I want to thank you for being a part of my journey and welcoming me to be a part of your journey as well. And until next time, lovely folk,